All right, questions for Coach Huff?
I guess, Coach, just day one in the books here. How'd it go today?
Yeah, I thought it went well. I told the guys I thought they had the right competitive spirit. I thought they had the right energy and right intent. Obviously, there's some anxiety, right? Day one, you put the helmets on, the same play we walked through 30 times in the last 2 months. It's all of a sudden like, oh, it's the same play. But I thought overall they had the right competitive spirit. I thought we took the right positive step. We got to continue to work on our consistency. Right now there's a lot of inconsistent things that are showing up, and I'm not talking about contested. And we talked to the team, earlier in the winter about contested versus consistency, right? If it's a contested throw, all right, he may break it up, but if it's a consistency issue, we got to do a really good job of making the easy plays easy, right? You got to take your layup. So I thought we did some good things from an energy and focus standpoint. Got to take a huge step in our consistency, but for day one, I felt pretty good about it.
And it's not like these guys are coming in today having not been together or having not been working out. What's the itinerary like for day one of a spring practice? You guys are able to kind of hit the ground running, aren't you?
Yeah, we were able to take advantage in our fourth quarter program of some of the rule changes, which, we were able to basically have, I think it was 11 install practices, with the way the rules were. So we went right back to day one today. So, we have guys that do really good once they hear it a couple times and they're able to go through it. So the recall was better today than a normal first day of spring. But of course, you put the helmet on, you put a guy across from you. Now my competitive juices go way up, and my focus on, the details of what I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to do it, kind of flatten out. So we got to balance the two. But I think we did a really good job from a retention and recall standpoint of what we were asking these guys to do.
Did anybody in particular catch your eye today? I know there's a lot of guys that have played a lot of football here, but maybe anybody off the radar that kind of made you raise an eyebrow a little bit this afternoon?
Yeah, I thought, Keelan LeBourne, did some really good things. He's got a really good, feel for the game. Obviously, he's an older guy. I watched the running backs a little bit different, so I always kind of got an eye on them. But I thought he did some really good things, just some feels of runs, just kind of, a good pace and a good tempo. I thought Brian Robinson did some really good things. He's got really strong hands. Really smooth runner. He kind of did some things towards the back end of practice. Caleb Coombs at the wideout position he is taking huge strides as far as he's got the ability, but as far as his retention and playmaking ability, you're starting to see him do things more consistently. From a defensive standpoint, obviously we don't have shoulder pads on, so the D-line, they kind of jump out and they run by and they yell at me, and but I thought as a whole, I thought they kind of did some really good things. Anthony Watts is one of the guys that we got from the transfer portal that's here. He did some really good things today, kind of showing up. In the back end, you got the ever so mayor of the group, Gilmore. He's just consistent and steady Eddie. But I heard him a little bit more today. I know I talked about that a little bit earlier in the press conference. He was a little more vocal, which is good. And then Isaiah Norman and Andre Sam were two guys in the back end that flashed a little bit, kind of throughout the day. So really impressed with the way the guys, their temperament. It wasn't kind of like pulling teeth to get these guys going, right? It's day one. But I thought we had the right focus today coming out.
Coach, I apologize. I missed the good portion of the press conference earlier today due to my regular job, but you might have touched on this earlier.
Cassidy said she saw you at Fat Patty's, so I don't know if that was your lunch break.
I wish that were true. What position groups, one on each side of the ball, are you really focusing on this spring to really try to improve and build on?
Well, I think it's obvious at the quarterback position on offense. We've got to find a quarterback who is, the quarterback of the team and not a quarterback on the team. And I explained it to the guys. I met with the quarterbacks, this winter, and I said, we're looking for a guy who can be the quarterback of the team, not just a quarterback on the team. And I think the difference is the quarterback, he's got command, he's got poise, he takes control, he kind of settles the storm. When things need to be done, he's able to kind of step up and not necessarily make a play by making a big throw, but getting us in the right protection, making sure guys are in the right formation. And right now we got a lot of guys playing quarterback, which is fine right now, but we got to get someone to take that next step. So from a offensive side of the ball, we've got to find that quarterback. And that's something that obviously last year we saw that when you have one, you have a chance to be really good. And when you don't have that same consistency at that position, you struggle a little bit. Defensively, I think for us in the back end at the safety position is probably, is the area where we took a big hit with Brandon Drayton and Nas Johnson, leaving, and McCoy, those kind of guys leaving. They played a lot of snaps for us. They had a lot of veteran leadership. So those are positions that we're kind of looking to fill on defense, looking for some guys to step up. Obviously, we have some guys who've played here, but no one that's really taken that, that role kind of like Brandon and Nas did. So safety on defense, and then obviously on offense, we've got to find the quarterback.
When you're looking at the quarterbacks, the ones particularly that you have on the roster right now for the spring, Fancher's the only one that's really played much, if at all. What have you seen out of him last year to this year? Tell me a little bit about Cam Fancher's game right now.
Yeah, well, you can see that obviously he's played and he kind of knows the system, right? He's able to kind of see things and process things a little bit quicker. He's able to kind of anticipate coverages and anticipate, different pressure looks and fronts and back end pictures a little bit better because he's taken so many reps, during the season when he was here last year. So that you can tell he has a little bit of carryover from that. He's missing when you're the backup quarterback, you kind of fall into that role. And he's missing right now, hey, you're actually the guy. So you're going to have to be the guy that, goes over to the receiver and say, hey, man, you just ran the wrong route, or hey, man, you were too tight on your alignment, or hey, really good catch, or you're going to have to be the guy when the guy lines up wrong to get him lined up. And you're going to have to take that assertive role, which is tough when you're trying to also still master the playbook, right? He learned the playbook, but he hadn't necessarily mastered it because he's only been here a year and, in some odd months. So I think he's battling right now from a play and scheme standpoint. He's got to take that next step as the assertive kind of the quarterback.
Coach, if you would talk about maybe the offensive line. Obviously you guys took some hits there, with Alex and Will and those guys leaving. How do you feel about the offensive line at this point?
Yeah, I feel really good. We've probably got 6-7 guys right now that have played, and we feel comfortable about coming back, with the guys we got starting. I think Stephen Fischel has done some really good things this offseason and made some really huge strides. Trent Holler has really done some really good things, the transfer from ECU. He's come in, he's got the right mentality. Obviously, you could tell he's played football a little bit. We still are looking to develop, some of the younger guys. I think Tyshawn Hurst is a guy that showed some flashes, right now. He's done some things that are really, really good. He's still learning. Obviously, he was on the team last year, but when you're on scout team, you're running off a card. So you don't necessarily get the reps and the calls and those type of things. So between him and Meeks, I think Meeks has done a really good job at the backup center position. I think obviously Driscoll and Sartor are doing a really good job at the tackle position. So we feel good about the guys we have. Dalton's in that group as well. Dalton played a lot, between him and Ozzie. So we feel good about the guys we have. What we're trying to do right now is the same thing we did last summer, right? We're trying to find who's that next guy. Well, last summer, that guy was James McGee. If you guys remember, he was kind of a guy who started on the second and third unit and kind of worked his way. And I don't know what it was, maybe game 4, game 5, he was ready to step in. So I think we'll find that guy. I think right now, between the guys we have, it's so new between Hurst and Holler and Meeks. It's so new to them that they're showing flashes, but the consistency comes when they get a little more comfortable.
Anything else?
Nothing from Cassidy. I mean, this is amazing. On time today, no questions on the Zoom. I mean, this is a new year, guys. This is the Sun Belt Cassidy.
Fool. I mean, I'm doing them from home, but at least I got some questions for you.
Yeah, right? I mean, she may be on air right now doing the sports, high school sports. But no, guys, I appreciate you guys. We're going to try to do this every day. I know, you guys can't necessarily get here, and I think there's a fine line between being able to get our fans the exposure they need, and you guys having, multiple jobs, and, Stoyer being able to go to lunch whenever he wants. So I'm not gonna go to lunch. I'm gonna come here after every practice and give you guys what you need. So that way our fans are getting as much exposure as possible.
All right.
Yep. That's why I'm here, man, too, working through lunch. I can stay at the desk.